So the Laugh of the Medusa, paragraph number 3 onwards, I'm talking. Let me read the essay first. Part first. Since these reflections are taking shape in an area just on the point of being discovered, they necessarily bear the mark of our time, a time during which the new breaks away from the old, and more precisely the feminine new from the old. As it's now we are on the point of being discovered. No longer you are going to hide yourself. It's an outbreak that is necessary, that is needed, and so that it is a breaking away from the old. No longer you are supposed to cling on to what is past and what has been holding you back. Thus, as there are no grounds for establishing a discourse, so in the beginning itself you may not be able to establish, or you have a ground for it, you are not having a ground for a discourse, may not be, but rather an arid millennial ground to break. But you have a ground there to break, an established ground which has been burying you, which has been burning your potentials, never had been contributory. So that ground is there to be broken, and what I say has at least two sides and two aims: to break up, to destroy, and to foresee the unforeseeable, to project. So that ground, breaking that ground, you need not be worried. You should not feel a kind of lack of confidence, or even you should not be even guilty about breaking such a ground, because that ground has not been fertile. As far as a woman is concerned, that ground has never been fertile or contributory, but something that has been burying you inside out. So here it is time for you to break that ground and to make you free. So you have to foresee the unforeseeable. You didn't see in the past, you failed to see in the past something that you have to foresee now. What we can, once if we come out, but how we are going to benefit out of the same at least. So this is the way she exhorts for a rebellious outbreak, or it's a kind of outbreak she prefers. No longer you are supposed to be submissive and passive. So it's time for you to rebel back. And next paragraph, I write this as a woman. So of course we know Caesar as a woman who is speaking toward women. Now it is toward women, other women, woman and women. A woman speaking to women, woman addressing many women. So when I say woman, I am speaking of woman in her inevitable struggle against conventional man. So no one can say that inevitable struggle had been there, or has been there. So it's against the conventional man. We cannot always say that every man is of this kind. So we can see a lot of men who tried, or who attempted, or who raised their own potential, their own voice for the emancipation of women. We know we have a lot of epitome examples even from India, Kerala. Everywhere we can talk about this kind of men who also tried their level best to end up these problems, but we cannot always say that every one of them is of the same. If so, we need not fight this patriarchy, or the system itself would not have been there, this patriarchal oppression. So conventional man is somewhere problematic as far as a woman and her emancipation is concerned. And of a universal woman, so see, against conventional man, and of a universal woman subject who must bring women to their senses. That is, you are sensible, but you never were told that you are sensible, or you were denied of being a sensible being. So this is and to their meaning in history. You also have a lot to do in history. You also have to mark your existence in history. But conventional male as well as this patriarchal system denied that chances. So this is time for you to think about making yourself visible in history. But first time it must be said that in spite of the enormity of the repression that has kept them in the dark, so they've been in the dark, that dark which people have been trying to make them accept as their attribute. So essentialism or attributing something, some qualities. You are already like this. You are already like that. You are born in this way. So you are supposed to behave or to live, to have such and such qualities. All these are attributes. And you have been kept in dark. There is at this time no general woman, no one typical woman. See, she says that it's once I talk about universal womanhood, you cannot always specify that every woman is of the same kind. There may be privileged women. There may be different kinds of women. Some at some corner of the world, you may see women who have already attempted this in emancipation, who have already succeeded in emancipating themselves. But those are rare cases. So you have to think about this women, those womanhood that is fighting, that has to fight against this conventional male, conventional man in general. Now one typical woman that they have in common, what they have in common, I will say. So she will tell us what they have in common. But what strikes me is the infinite richness of their individual constitutions. You can't talk about a female sexuality, uniform, homogeneous, classifiable into codes. So individual constitutions we have to take in mind, we have to take care of. Of course, we talk about double marginalization in the case of black women, but that is not the case with a white woman. Being woman, she has a lot of problems too. She has a lot of challenges to face, but being a black woman holds or imposes much other difficulties. So this is the way individual differences on behalf of many other qualities or many other attributes to come into the questioning realm. So here you can't talk about a female sexuality, uniform, homogeneous, classifiable into codes any more than you can talk about one unconscious resembling another. Can you always say that my unconscious is that same as that of the another person? Person number A is of the same, holds the same conscious of the that of person B. No, you cannot say. Even in the case of identical twins, you cannot claim that the unconscious remains the same. So this is the way women also differ. Even if you categorize this, or you can talk about this category, this term you can use, but you have to think about the differences that comes as individuals, in them as individuals. Women's imaginary is inexhaustible, like music, painting, writing. Their stream of phantasm is incredible. You didn't know that. You were never told about that, or no one admitted that you have skill, you are dexterous, about this inexhaustible resources of your being, your creativity. Not just music and painting, many other areas you can talk about. So she says you are immensely rich in your potential, but you have to use that. You have to you have to be willing to make use of that. You have to stay willing to make use of that, at least to realize the potential. So this is the way. So in every paragraph of her essay talks about the need for women to realize their potentials before any movement. Movement is first about realizing the self and its worth, and after that comes all the other part. So that's all with the paragraph number. See, this video session contains paragraph number 3 and 4 together. Thank you.